Welcome, one and all, to this week's episode of I Can't Even, where we cover everything local, Hollywood, and viral. I'm your anchor, Katelyn Stamas.
And I'm the real star of the show, Zach Myers. Let's get started.
It's finally here, Marquette, inaugural week, aka everything is free and the time doesn't matter. Our new president, James Lovell, is the 24th president here at Marquette University, and has actually been here over the summer working on things and getting acquainted with campus. The only reason why they waited for the inauguration until now was to make sure that people would actually show up. In order to pack the crowd with students, they also made all of the tickets free while also offering t-shirts, let alone it will bring in a large crowd. Lovell has been spotted around campus a lot lately, which is a complete change from when Pillars was president. I mean, who actually saw him? It was easier to find Waldo than spotting Pillars at an event.
Speaking of events, last Saturday the inaugural activities started, and to get the ball rolling, the inaugural ball was a pretty big hit. Not only was there gourmet food like mac and cheese, you know, the fancy kind with truffle rich person cheese, they also had popcorn and some pretty darn good water, since apparently Marquette is still pushing for alcohol not to be served at events, even when the president is involved. Yet we all know that it was Father Pillars who spiked the punch at his own inaugural ball. Speaking of the president, if his term here is as successful as his dance moves, we're going to have a good time. He was spotted doing the Cupid Shuffle, electric slide, and even dancing to some Daft Punk. Overall, it was a pretty good night, and actually had people dancing to 80s music instead of sex on the dance floor, or as we like to call it, grinding.
Gotta love high school. It all begins with a ball and ends with a bang this week with fun-filled activities ready to make your heart swell. On Tuesday, there was a Residence Hall Association carnival filled with activities sure to make your inner 4-year-old self come on out to play. The carnival included a dunk tank, duck pond, lawn bowling, photo booth, bounce house, and an assortment of treats. Tonight, there is Glow Bingo with the president and his wife to support her charity, with prizes including a meal with the Levels family and men's basketball season tickets. Thursday, there is Mass at 4 p.m. and reception from 5:30 to 6:30. Friday is the big day, the inauguration ceremony in the Al McGuire Center, which we all don't know where it is, with students wearing their gold out shirts starting promptly at 3 p.m. with classes canceled for after that time. Saturday, we begin to wrap things up with a music festival, and on Sunday, the president's keynote address for all student organization leaders. Talk about a busy week here at Marquette.
This past week, the entire campus jumped for joy when they discovered that Pita Bros would be moving into a location on campus. As many know, the campus is food deprived. Your choices for food are getting pretend food from Sodexo, an overpriced burrito from Qdoba, or waiting until Tuesday for $5 Papa John's pizzas. But no more! Pita Bros will be moving next to Cousin Subs, an opening where Campus Dollar used to be. Now I know what you're wondering. What is Campus Dollar? It was a store that used to be open 3 years ago and sold balloons and other useless college items to college kids looking for useful items. The recipe for success didn't quite work out. Let's hope that Pita Bros has more success in the location, because the number one thing we need on campus is a new food place. Well, actually, we need a grocery store, so Pita Bros is a close number 2.
It is no surprise that the Briggs and Al's Walk was a hit. A whopping 23 students beat the president and will receive their very own eye level t-shirt. Talk about some sick bragging rights. How many of you say you can beat the president of your university in a race? I know I can't. Overall, the event was a success, and there were hundreds of students and participants who came out to the walk to raise awareness.
Last week, I showed you all a tour of Marquette's campus, and this week I went back out to find out about the food options we have here on campus. Take it away, me! Hey Marquette, we've been here for a couple weeks now, and you're probably wondering, does the food around here ever change? This week we're going to find out the answer to that question. We're standing right now in front of Eckstein Hall, which of course houses the Torrey Hill Cafe, which stands for the hill of which the law students stand upon and look down at all the underclassmen peasants and laugh about how much more money they're going to make in 5 years. The Torrey Hill Cafe is known for its filet mignon, lobster, creme brulee, soufflés, and of course, their grilled cheese. So good. Here we are at the Tampon Tower, whose all-you-can-eat dining hall is known for its exceptionally tasty water and its really good cereal. Here we have a fallen warrior of Marquette. Oh, she could have had so much more potential. Do you have anything to say? Just too heartbroken for words. I'm heartbroken. I wonder if it still tastes good. Now we're at Schrader Hall, which has the Italian dining option, known for having 2 people in line for chicken parm at 5 o'clock on Fridays, and 162 people waiting in line for chicken parm at 6 p.m. on Sundays, as Silent James asked people for bread. Right now, to my right, is what Sodexo likes to call future AMU chicken tenders. Let's go see if we can interview the little guy. See what he thinks about becoming future Oh, run away! Run away before Sodexo can find you! Here we are at Imitation Starbucks. I mean the brew, which serves imitation Starbucks. Here we are at the AMU, which has the grill inside, which will have you bolting out of class to sit on the toilet all afternoon long. Here we are at McCormick Hall, which of course has Sodexo food inside. Ever wondered what Sodexo means in Spanish? Literally, it means loose bowel syndrome. Not surprised? I'm not. Here we are at the Annex, which puts you 6 feet under before you even eat their food, which coincidentally is where you're going to want to be right after eating their food. Well, that does it for our tour of the food of Marquette. We'll see you back on the streets next week.
Are you a fantastic, fanatic fan of fabulous Marquette basketball? Well, have no fear because your tickets are coming here. On September 24th, get your wallet ready to purchase your season pass for everything Marquette sports. If you miss out, you'll be crying all season, so get that clicker ready to purchase your 17 home game pass for only $99. Otherwise, you'll have one more problem on your list this winter.
In other news, the Marquette Madness date was released. This year it will be on Friday, October 10th in the Al McGuire Center. For those of you wondering, the Al McGuire Center is the building you were in one time for your convocation freshman year and haven't been in since that. Of course, maybe you went to a women's basketball game at some point. That's a good one. Marquette Madness is known for giving out an enormous load of free stuff and getting everyone pumped for the basketball season. This is going to be a tall task this year. I mean, did you see our basketball team last year? Stevie Wonder could have made more shots than the men we put on the floor last year. So in order to make up for last year, the Marquette is going to make this year's Marquette Madness insane. 17 semi-trucks have been called in for extra assistance, and all of them are completely full of giveaways because Marquette's philosophy is if we can throw enough stuff in your face, maybe you'll completely forget that we had a terrible team last year and that our head coach left the university to go to an even worse basketball team for less money. So come out in all of your blue and gold gear for Marquette Madness when we have all the hope in the world for the season. It will be just like what Jacksonville Jaguars feel the day before the season begins because they have that feeling that there's a chance they may win one game that season. The only difference, of course, is that Marquette has a chance of winning many, many, many games this year, while the Jaguars can drink their sorrows away.
Last Thursday, the Brewers versus the Marlins, and man, was the game heading for the outfield. Not only did the Marlins take a tough loss, one of their players also took a tough knock. Slugger Giancarlo Stanton was hit in the face by a fastball from the Brewers' Mike Fiers. Stanton's injuries included facial fractures, dental damage, and deep cuts that had to be stitched up. It is no shock that a ball coming at your face 88 miles an hour isn't going to instill critical damage. He was rushed to the hospital, and it doesn't seem likely that he will return for the season.
Now, before we move on to the Marquette 3, I would like to take the time to personally say you're welcome to all football fans. As a San Diego Chargers fan, San Diego beat the Seahawks over the weekend, giving every team in the NFL hope that they could win the Super Bowl. That is every team except the Jaguars, who found out this week that every fan in attendance of their next home game gets a free Jaguar sticker. We now move on to the Marquette 3, where each week we count down the top 3 answers to a question about Marquette. This week's question is, why is the inauguration of President Lavelle such a big deal? At number 3, it's because in just 3 weeks, he has already attempted to be more involved with students than our previous president. At number 2, Marquette promised Dr. Lavelle that if he left UW-Milwaukee, they would give him a bigger inauguration than President Obama. And the number 1 reason why the inauguration of President Lavelle is such a big deal is because just the fact alone that Father Pallars is gone is worth celebrating.
Stay tuned to I Can't Even, because we'll be back with more Hollywood dish than I can scoop out of my tub of Ben & Jerry's. And then the viral videos of the week that are sure to make you go, what just happened?